agenda that I want to cover to go with you through today. So we are launching, or we are planning to launch the ANY Connect. So what does it mean? What is the ANY Connect? Then we are explaining the architecture of this new component. It is an open extendable connector framework. We are going to explain what will be available with the new framework. Then we are open for your questions. So the first question is, what is the ANY Connect? So the ANY Connect you see here is plugged into our landscape, to our service layer on the Salesforce side, that enables you to connect to different application systems. In future, we will see more than 100 different systems, if that's so much that you need to connect from Salesforce. So why we can do that? Because we are using brand new architecture. We are using the Apache Camel. Apache Camel is very new on the market, and is a stable solution that is used by any other vendor, like Helen is using that. SAP is using this framework. So this is an open source framework from the Apache project group. So we are using that as well. But we are using it a little bit differently. Okay, let me explain. The second point is that when we are using that, when we are using this architecture, we are able to deploy the ANY Connect different operating system like Windows or Linux, or even on the cloud. What we can do. Then, because we are using the framework, it is framework. You can have different component. It's called component, but this is a connector that is available that you can use. You can reconfigure to include it in the ANY Connect, so that we can have a lot of connector here to put into our ANY Connect in future. Here you see at the moment there's 100 different components or different adapters and connector available on the marketplace of the Apache Camel. So you can pick one or some of them and integrate to our ANY Connect framework, into our connector framework, so that you can use this connector to connect to the application system. What we are providing for the release here that we are talking about now is we are providing you the main protocol like file, FTP, SFTP, databases. We are providing you connection integration to the event-driven application system like Apache Kafka, Apache Pulsar. Then we are giving you the connector that is enable you to invoke API, invoke a SOAP API or a REST API. Here's some idea what we can plan in future. In the next release, we can add more connectivity. So for every release that we are bringing, we will add more connectivity, so that the library, the connector library, will increase by release to release. So let's see the overall big picture. So when you look to the overall big picture, you can see the ANY Connect here is a special block. It's a new block that we are providing to our service layer, where you know already that you can, for example, connect to using data connect or manual load. You can connect to different ERP system. You can connect to another cloud system. You can also connect to any middleware, or if none of the standard connector works, you can connect to, we can build a custom connect based on the connector framework, and then we can connect to any application system. But this needs customizing and developing the connector. So that is what is the ANY Connect will be. So now let's go into the architecture. Here you have the Salesforce side with the SKYVVA service layer. Then the Any Connect is technically, we are calling it in our internal name, is called the agent. Here, for example, when you are install it on-premise, you will put it below under the firewall, behind the firewall. You have here the endpoint API with the agent. The endpoint API is a central point that we connect from Salesforce, and Salesforce, this connector is the Any Connect that connect to the agent. Then the agent is connecting and using the Apache Camel, and we are doing here data transformation or protocol transformation, and then we can connect to different application system, to this different business application system that is behind the Apache Camel. On the other way, we can read data from database, for example, or we can get data from the business application. Then we have the SKYVVA connector inside the agent that will talk to the SKYVVA API on Salesforce side, so that we can do this communication direction from the business application system to Salesforce. So with the Any Connect, we provide both direction to communicate in bi-directional and synchronous, asynchronous, so it can be done for both direction. So let's see here the deployment option. The deployment option, you can run the agent on Windows or on Linux on-premise, or you can run on the cloud. If you are connecting or if you are moving your IT infrastructure, your application landscape, if you are moving into the cloud, you can also move the agent, the Any Connect, into the cloud. Then it will work and it will serve you and connect to the application, the business application that is running on the cloud. So you are not bound to run on-premise only. You can run on-premise, you can run on cloud. So it doesn't matter, or it will give you all the options that you needed to integrate to your application landscape. So let's see now the building block. What is the component of the Any Connect? Here again, we have the service layer, where you can do here the mapping, the transformation, where we provide you the monitoring of messages going to the business application or coming from the business application. We have the alerting functionality. We can do the routing with our workflow. Then we have here the Any Connect. Then here the agent, which is technically spoken, it is based on a Spring Boot container. So we are using the latest Java technology. And here the API listener, where it is building the bridge, the communication bridge to the Salesforce side. So then we are using the camel route. And what you can see here, and we are using the H2 memory database. So we are using a database, but a lightweight in-memory database to keep some cache data that allowed us to do correct routing to application system like FTP or file or calling API or writing to database or putting to Kafka, that we need some cache information. And here we are using a lightweight in-memory database already. Then we can go to the business application system. When we coming back, we have the API connector, and we are connecting to the SKYVVA API on the Salesforce side. So what you can see here is a lightweight version of something that is sitting here in between the business application and Salesforce application. So you can think as a middleware as well. It is something in between a gateway and middleware. But what we do here, we are not doing a full-blown enterprise bus or middleware, because we just use a very lightweight in-memory database. We are using only the Apache Camel route. We are not using here mapping engine. We are not using here BPM, business workflow. We are not using routing logic from different application to different application. We don't need all of that. And because we don't need all of that, because we are not implementing a full-blown middleware, we can reduce the component, the complexity, and therefore we have a lightweight architecture here, just using the Apache camera for building the route, and using the Apache component that allowed us to very easily and in a short time frame to customize, to connect, and to make a new connector available to you. That is what we are using. That is why we are saying that our Any Connect, the agent here, is a lightweight architecture, because it's not coming with a full-blown middleware. You know it from TIBCO, Microsoft BizTalk, SAP middleware, or MuleSoft middleware. So they are very, very big and very heavyweight. So all of that we don't need. We want to make the integration from Salesforce to the business application in a lightweight, in a very fast way. Then we need to control all the runtime on the agent side, and therefore we have built here a so-called agent control board, so that you can administer everything on from the agent that is running on-premise behind the firewall. So you don't need to log into that server. What you need to do is just setting up a firewall setting, open the firewall to the agent. Then we can control start, stop, route, start, stop consumer, seeing how many files is there. Then you can do all from Salesforce side using very nicely Salesforce UI. Okay, that is the architecture, the lightweight framework. And now let us go and discuss about the different connectors that we are providing in the upcoming release. The first connector we are providing to you is the database connector, because we see that customer, you still have database application inside your company, Oracle, SQL Server, or MySQL, or other databases, where you need to integrate the data from the database into Salesforce, or where you need to write data from Salesforce into your database. That is still needed. And therefore, we have here on this side a producer that can write data into the database, and that can do the database operation like insert, update, delete, select, and invoke a stored procedure. On the other side, we have a scheduler that can synchronize data from database and push to Salesforce. That is the functionality that we provide out of the box for database. And when you push data to Salesforce, you select the data from the table, or you can use a stored procedure to push data. And then you can do here on Salesforce side, the insert, update, delete, select, or you are using a custom class if the logic is a complex business logic. That is something that is available already in the SKYVVA solutions. So let us go to the next connector, which is file connector, or FTP, SFTP, or FTPS. So here we have the same flow that we are sending data from Salesforce, and we have this data to put into a file. So this, it can be a local file if you are using the file protocol. If you are using an FTP, you have an FTP server somewhere in your organization, and you want to put the data, to write the data into an FTP server, or into an SFTP server, or into an FTPS server. That you can do to transfer data to a different data location. The other way around, you want to read data. If you still have application that is producing data CSV or XML, it can be put into one local folder. Then we have a consumer that start pulling it. This is an event driven. Here you see you don't have a scheduler, because here with the new architecture, there's a consumer, an event driven. When a file is coming into a folder, we have a listener. This file get picked up and processed and sent to SKYVVA on the Salesforce side. So we are working here with an event-driven consumer. You don't need to start or stop any scheduler anymore. The same we can do. We can read, we can pull data from FTP, SFTP, or FTPS. The file format that we support is CSV, XML, and Excel. So you can write this file format, or you can read this file format using the event-driven consumer. Okay, so let us come to another one. This is the Kafka Connector. So Kafka Connector is used to connect to the event-driven platform, Apache Kafka. So Apache Kafka is used in a modern application design. Like you see new application like Netflix, like Twitter, like YouTube. They are based on a publish and subscribe architecture. You don't need to send directly to different user or different application system your data anymore. You are publishing, like in a YouTube channel, or Netflix, you are publishing into a channel, and there's a lot of subscribers that subscribe, that are interested to get the content. Then they are going to subscribe this channel, like your YouTube channel. So you don't have a big effort to send your movie to every millions of the audience. You just have the effort to publish on one place, on one channel. Then the other people, the other application, the other component that are interested, they will subscribe it, and then they get it automatically. So that is the new way of application design, or the new way, this event-driven architecture you can use as well for doing integration. And this is getting popular in today's application, like Netflix, like YouTube, you see that, like Facebook, like Twitter. They are based on event-driven architecture. And we are supporting this new kind of application design now. So we are providing you to connect to an event-driven system to publish event. How can we do that? For example, in Kafka, you need to create different topic. This is similar to different channel, YouTube channel. You put the business data, you can publish the business data. So you can publish, for example, an invoice into this invoice topic. And then the application that are subscribed to this topic, they get the data. You don't need to send to all applications. The other way around is that some external producer, they are putting messages, they are putting data into a topic, and we are now the subscriber because we are interested to get the data. Then we can play the role, we can be in the role of the subscriber. So with the Kafka Connector, you can be a publisher where you publish the content, or you can be a subscriber where you are a client, where you are interested to get the data. And this is the way modern application works. The other connector that we support is the Apache Pulsar, and Apache Pulsar is almost the same like Apache Kafka. It is also widely used in the market. So it's very similar to Apache Kafka. So you will see some customers use Pulsar, some customers use Kafka is like the database, some use Oracle, some use SQL Server. So here it's depend on the customer. If they use Pulsar, they can use our Pulsar connector, and it works in the same behavior. So you have here, it is also publish and subscribe based. So you have topic, you have channel, where you can use our producer to publish data into a topic, or we can be a consumer, a subscriber, and subscribe the data that external application, that external producer has put into the topic. Okay, let's come to the next one, which is the SOAP connector. So the SOAP connector, you know it already from our SKYVVA solution. We have SOAP connector here on Salesforce as well. But why are we now providing you another SOAP connector? So let's say when you connect to Amazon, to eBay, to Twitter, to Facebook, you can use our SOAP here to call a SOAP API that is available on the internet, that is accessible on the internet, that is lying on another cloud platform. Then you can use our SOAP connector here. But you might have all application, or you have on-premise application that provide API as well, because it is an old application. It provides SOAP API, for example. Then you have the requirement, you need to invoke, to use that API to create, for example, an order in Business One, or in Oracle to create an invoice. And Oracle provide here the API to do that, the SOAP API. Then you cannot call from the internet. That is impossible. Then you need a local component that is able to invoke the local API. And this is what we can do with the agent SOAP connect. This we are calling the SOAP API. Here, because of the security reason, you see here the internet zone, you see here the local network zone. So the agent is responsible to make the connection inside your enterprise, and then make the connection to the internet, so that you need to open the firewall only to the agent, and the agent can be put into the DMZ. And this is a security issue. You can do that because of the security reason. You don't want to open your business application to be accessible through the internet. That could be dangerous. Therefore, this is a good design to have something locally installed, like the agent that can act as a gateway or as a proxy, a reverse proxy, so that it can block the direct access from the internet to your business application system. The same way we are providing for REST connector, because the application that you have on this side provide a REST API. You cannot use the SOAP connector to call a REST API, because the protocol is different. And therefore, we provide you a REST connector where you can do the same way. You can consume the REST API of your local application system. The reason is the same. The difference is just because it is a REST API and not a SOAP API.